Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. on your Saturday. It's October 11th. Sarah and I were just outside on our break, and we saw lots of people running, getting ready for most likely the San Antonio Marathon, formerly the Rock and Roll Marathon in December. Perfect running weather outside.
Honestly, beautiful, because temperatures are in the 60s outside right now with low humidity. And so temperatures are going to be on the rise from here, but this is the coolest they'll be all morning long. It's a few degrees cooler in the hill country. Bernie's at 55, 55 in Kerrville and Comfort, 64 in Canyon Lake, 63 in New Braunfels, 65 in Seguin, and 63 in Floresville. As we take a look at the forecast highs for the day, it's going to be 92 in San Antonio for the high. So a hot one for us for sure. Elsewhere, we'll be looking at highs in the upper 80s in the hill country. This is very similar to what the weather's been doing over the last few days. Tomorrow, we're going to wake up at 63, so even cooler in the morning tomorrow. If you can get up closer to sunrise, enjoy some time outdoors, that's where you'll really benefit from the more pleasant weather. And again, 91 for the high tomorrow. The key here is, though, low humidity, so if you find some shade, it'll feel great out there. Hey, coming up in the forecast, we're going to be talking about how we usually by now have already seen a temperature at 60 degrees in the morning, and that has yet to happen. And we could see a record broken if that doesn't happen soon. I'll have those details and, of course, a look ahead to the rest of your weekend and your week ahead in just a bit. Sarah,
thank you. Man is in the hospital this morning after a security guard shot him at a Whataburger. That's according to police. Just before 2:30 this morning, trouble broke out at a Whataburger near I-35 and Division Avenue on the south side. Police say a group was causing a disturbance, so security asked them to leave. They did, but then came back, threatening the security guard. That's when police say one of the men pulled out a gun and fired at the guard. The guard then fired back with his own gun. The group ran off, but police found the man a block away and took him to the hospital, where he's in stable condition. The suspect is currently facing a charge of assault on a security officer with a deadly weapon. Our Devin Karp is on his way there. Going to see if this Whataburger is open this morning and to find out any more information. Stay with us on air and online. Well, a team scuffle gone too far. One Lytle high school football player is recovering after what coaches describe as roughhousing incident earlier this week. So Edmia Perez says it was her 14-year-old son named Steven who was hurt on Wednesday. Edmia says her son has a concussion and bruising to his ribs, shoulder, and chest. She says it started with teasing in the weight room.
He goes into the locker room to take a shower, get ready to go to school. He says that they just start pushing him, and then he says next thing you know he's on the ground, and he just feels all these bodies pile up on top of him. If I send him there hoping and thinking he's safe, and I just feel like they failed us.
In a letter sent from the head football coach on Thursday, Mike Trevino, he says the team will participate in a mandatory community service day. He also says coaching staff already implemented new supervision and locker room procedures. Well, this morning, police continue to investigate the death of a 14-year-old. Plus, another 14-year-old is in custody after a shooting on the northeast side of Bexar County. So yesterday, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office was called for a 14-year-old boy with a gunshot to his upper body. He was taken to BAMC, where he later died. Deputies say they found another 14-year-old boy running into a home about a half-mile away from that location. They took him into custody. Sheriff Javier Salazar says investigators found a handgun they believe was used in the shooting. Investigators are still looking for a motive.
Any loss of life is heartbreaking, but when here in this instance we've got two young lives, one taken and one seriously affected through his own actions, of course, the suspect in the case, but over what? I can't imagine at present. I don't know what the motive is, but I can't imagine anything that would be worth what happened today.
So we don't expect to know the names of either victim or suspected shooter, since they are both minors. Well, we heard opening arguments in the trial for 3 former San Antonio police officers who shot and killed a woman in 2023. Nathaniel Villalobos, Alfred Flores, and Elizad Alejandro are on trial for the death of Melissa Perez. So you might remember in June of 2023, Perez was having a mental health crisis when the 3 officers arrived at her apartment complex. Reports say she was swinging a hammer at the officers as they tried to get into her apartment. Well, yesterday, the defense argued the officers' lives were at risk when Perez was swinging that hammer. But prosecutors argued the officers didn't have a warrant to go into her home and didn't follow protocols, saying Perez had every right to protect herself.
None of those 15 officers thought that after 78, 2 hours and 30 minutes, no one thought about doing the constitutionally mandated thing of going to a neutral and detached magistrate and getting a warrant to breach Ms. Perez's home. It wasn't a consideration.
Many people are paying attention to this case. It could set precedent on how officers here in San Antonio and other cities are trained. Villalobos is facing up to 20 years in prison, and Flores and Alejandro face up to life in prison if they're convicted. The trial resumes Monday morning, and you can watch it live on KSAT Plus and on KSAT.com, where we will be streaming. Well, if you work for a company, it's likely you've done routine drug testing. One of those companies, Quest Diagnostics, just came out with a shocking report. Turns out more people are testing positive for fentanyl combined with other drugs like marijuana. Courtney Friedman heard from the company and a local mom who knows firsthand how often people are taking fentanyl without even knowing it.
Quest Diagnostics is where many people do mandatory workforce drug testing, and they track their data. Well, the number of lab results that show fentanyl combined with other drugs has doubled since 2020. More specifically, the number of results that were positive for both fentanyl and marijuana has doubled since 2020. And tests with both fentanyl and amphetamines are up 5%.
The numbers are concerning for people who don't realize that the two could be mixed.
Yeah, I mean, the indications that multiple substances are being potentially mixed or used together, obviously there's definitely concerns.
Quest Senior Director of Science, Dr. Suhash Harwani, can't determine how many of those cases involve drugs laced with fentanyl, but a local mom says DEA numbers show that's likely the situation for most of these tests.
Any drug out there that is sold on the street has the potential to have fentanyl in it. And we can pretty confidently say that 80% of street drugs has fentanyl in it.
And you know that more than anybody.
I do, because in 2022, my son bought what he thought was a Xanax, and when I got his autopsy back 8 weeks later, there was not one piece of Xanax in it. It was 100% fentanyl.
While she hopes her son Cody's story will stop people from taking illicit drugs, she knows that's not always possible. So this Quest drug test data has her advocating for workplace safety.
We want every single business, every entity in this city to have Narcan. If an employee has gone to the restroom or has gone on a lunch break and they come back and they're sick and something's happening, you need to have that Narcan on hand, and that gives them a chance to live.
Dr. Harwani hopes the data will help communities in many ways.
Understand where trends are going, to understand what impacts, and educate.
Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Courtney, thank you. And the 3rd annual Souls Walking for Souls Fentanyl Awareness Walk is tomorrow from 3 to 8 p.m. at the Green Line at Brooks City Base on the south side. San Antonio's first event of its kind in the state, and the walk goes on for a mile, but it's so much more than that because city, county, and state leaders, they will all be there. Also, a resource fair will be going on, and our very own Courtney Friedman will be emceeing the event, so we hope to see you there. It's 8:09 and 65 degrees outside. You have the chance to get rid of your old batteries today. How it scores you a free ticket into a festival, we'll explain when we come back.
Well, if we don't have any rain in the forecast, at least it's a beautiful morning. Temperatures are only in the 60s. We will get really warm this week. I'll have a look at temperatures. I'm calling this October Hot-tober. We're off to a hot start. Details soon.
Welcome back. Well, an early morning shootout at a Southside Whataburger has left a man in the hospital involving a security guard. Our Devin Karp is live at that Whataburger. So Devin, what are you seeing? Are they back open for business?
Yeah, sir, I've seen a few cars go through the drive-thru this morning. If you take a look, you can see some of the staff are still sitting outside here this morning, and we're still getting some more information from the San Antonio Police Department, but here's what we're able to say so far. We know that this happened at about 2:30 in the morning when there was some type of verbal argument between a security guard and an unknown named male suspect. Now, that person was getting in an argument with the security guard. That's when the security officer told them to leave. At that time, that they said that they were gonna have some threats that he made towards the security officer. We then know a little bit later, we're still waiting on that official timeline, that the suspect returned with another man to come and confront the security guard in the parking lot. Once he did, that second suspect, a 46-year-old man, pulled out a handgun and started to shoot at the security officer. That's when that security officer returned fire and shot the second suspect, that 46-year-old man. That 46-year-old man was then taken to the hospital and is being charged with an offense of assault on security officer with a deadly weapon. That first suspect who started this all with the verbal altercation still has not been found yet by San Antonio police, though. But funny enough, this is not the first time that there has been an incident like this at a Whataburger in the last week. There was a brawl over on Sunday night that happened with about 7 different people at a Whataburger on the north side. In the meantime, though, this one does appear to stay open. We're going to continue with the details and follow up with the latest over online at KSAT.com and over here over the air at KSAT 12. I'll send it back to you, Sarah.
Devin, thank you. Happening today, you can trade in your batteries for a free pass to Battery Fest. It's a citywide fun event with food, games, and even fire trucks to check out for the kiddos. It's all about battery safety and fire prevention. So bring your batteries to the Solid Waste Center on Loop 410 to join the fun from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Kids love seeing the fire trucks there. I love seeing the fire trucks. It's cool.
It is so cool. It is so cool. I remember one time I went up in the bucket, and that was terrifying. That was so crazy. But a great event.
You do that anymore.
I don't know. I don't know if I would want to do that again. But hey, it feels amazing outside.
It really does.
This
really
morning,
does.
Temperatures are in the 60s. We've got low humidity. It's 65 degrees in San Antonio. You know, it got me thinking. So we still have not seen a temperature below 60 degrees. We still have not seen a morning low in the 50s yet this season, and by now we definitely usually do. So on average, our average morning low below 60 degrees happens on September 26th. That was quite a few weeks ago, right? And the latest that has ever happened in the last 30 years is back on October 19th. Well, take a look at this. Morning lows are going to continue to be pleasant in the next several days, but they are going to be well above average. Average low this time of year is 62. You don't see any 50s here for the morning lows. October 19th, remember, is that latest day we've hit 60 degrees for the first time. I think we're going to get past that. I think this year we'll have our latest start to seeing temperatures below 60 degrees in the last 30 years. As we take a look at temperatures, it's only 57 right now in Kerrville, 63 in New Braunfels. We're going to have a hot day, but at least the humidity will be low. Dew points are pleasant in the 50s. This is where it feels great, even if you're outside when it's the hottest part of the day, right around 4 o'clock when we're at 92. If you find some shade, you'll be just fine. Again, it'll feel okay outside, even if it is going to be well above average. Well above average here in San Antonio. In fact, we're going to be one of the hottest spots across the nation. That being said, the warmth that they're experiencing across the Central Plains is about 10 to 15 degrees above where they're usually at this time of year. So it's not just us that's roasting. A good portion of the Central Plains is roasting as well. And that's because of a high pressure system. High pressure system often acts like a magnifying glass with the sun when you were a kid and the ants, causing those ants to burn, those kinds of things. This is really intensifying the heat that we've got overhead. That being said, we do not have any rain in our forecast either over the next several days because high often means dry. Unfortunately, no rainfall for us, and we're in the middle of extreme and exceptional drought. That's that red color here. It's not just us, though, that's in extreme drought across Texas. It's also West Texas. But the good news for West Texas is they expect some rain from the remnants of Tropical Storm Raymond. So Tropical Storm Raymond is going to be bringing rain for areas in Arizona and New Mexico, and in West Texas they could easily see 1 to 3 inches of rain while we continue to be dry, unfortunately. And again, take a look at this forecast. It's very, very similar day to day. Mornings in the 60s, afternoons in the 90s. So I just showed you when we usually see our first temperature below 60 degrees, but what about 50? What about 40? What about our first freeze on average? I'll have that answer for you coming up in a bit, because yes, even though we're hot right now, Sarah, eventually it will get cooler in San Antonio. The seasons change, so you can't really change the fact that we are eventually going to get cool. It's just waiting for that first crisp, cool fall morning. It's taking a bit longer than it usually does.
Just want to like be in leggings and an oversized sweatshirt, and it'd be okay.
Rather than sweating, right? Yeah, we'll eventually get there, but just not in the next 7 days.
Thanks, Sarah. All right, it's 8:22, 65 degrees. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. If you're into the paranormal or love a good museum tour, you'll want to tune in at 10 a.m. today. Our David Elder taking on a spooky journey through Waco's most haunted spots, including a museum that tells stories you won't believe.
We have a lot of sightings of sort of shadow figures, maybe people feeling like someone tugging on them in some way, or even from our cameras, orbs, sort of balls of light that are caught on video there.
Okay, that's terrifying. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. I mean, it's an old building. It's got a lot of history. Things happen, right?
Right, yes. Yeah, our buildings here, both of our museum buildings are over 100 years old, so there's definitely a lot of people that have traveled within these areas over time.
Okay, so now you've said people have shared things with you. Have you experienced anything paranormal?
Yes, well, we certainly have a lot of different stories that have come from staff members. For me personally, one of the stories I like to share, it happened at our big staircase up front in our main building, where I was leading a tour one night.
Oh, what a cliffhanger. I want to hear the rest of that spooky story. I was getting sucked in. That is the Dr. Pepper Museum in Waco. It is such a cool place. I really look forward to watching that Texas Eats right after our show at 10 a.m. Thank you, David. 8:26, 65 degrees coming up. We'll show you inside Legacy Elementary, the new Uvalde school honoring the victims with powerful tributes throughout the campus. And coming up, we'll also take you behind the scenes with San Antonio's hostage negotiators and show you how they use words to diffuse high-stakes situations. Good morning. It's 8:30 on your Saturday. It is October 11th. It doesn't really feel like October. Actually, no, I will say it kind of does for now, but I feel like it gives you such false hope because then you're like, wait, what? We're back in the summer?
Exactly.
Later in the day.
We have false fall for about an hour in the morning, and then it quickly warms up. I mean, we're at our coolest right now in San Antonio at 65 degrees. This is the coolest we'll be all day. It even dipped into the 50s in the hill country this morning, 56 in Fredericksburg, 57 in Kerrville. Good morning, New Braunfels. It's 62 degrees, 61 in Austin. If you joined us in the last half hour, we talked about how on average we hit a morning low at or below 60 degrees by September 26th. That has yet to happen this year. We still have not hit 60 degrees. And impressively, we really on average see our first morning low at or below 50 degrees by around now, October 16th in about 5 days. Then 40 degrees or below by November 8th, the first week of November. And our average first freeze in San Antonio is right around December 3rd. So we are off to a slow start to getting things cooler for us. And unfortunately, this afternoon, we are just going to be hot. There's nothing else to really say about it. 92 degrees for the high. But at the same time, a lot of people do move to this area because they want to escape those winters from up north. Now, looking ahead, I have some hints at when we could see our next cool front. I'll have that forecast for you and a comparison to last year. Were we this hot last year around this time? Details soon. Sarah.
Sarah, thank you. A shootout at a Southside Whataburger involving a security guard has left one man in the hospital. Our Devin Karp is live at that Whataburger. Now, Devin, this is the second incident at a Whataburger in the last week.
Yeah, that's right, Sarah. We had one where there was a brawl with 7 people where police had to get involved at a Whataburger over on the north side this last Sunday. And now there was a shootout at the parking lot behind me at about 2:30 this morning. The San Antonio police say that there was a man who started arguing with the security officer here on the premises. That's when the security officer told the man to leave, but before he did, he started making threats against the security officer. Then we know that a little bit later, sometime, according to San Antonio police, that man came back with another suspect. This man was a 46-year-old man who brought a gun and started to shoot at that security officer in the parking lot. That's when the security officer returned fire and shot at that second suspect, the 46-year-old man. He was taken to the hospital and is now being charged with assault with a deadly weapon at a security officer. Now, the first man who started arguing with that security officer and started it all, he's still on the run. Police have not been able to locate him at this time. In the meantime, though, the Whataburger behind me is still open. Some of the employees I spoke with say they're used to seeing some crazy things around this area, but never something of this magnitude. In the meantime, cars are going through the drive-thru, and we're going to work to keep you updated with the latest over the air and online at KSAT.com. For now, I'll send it back to you, Sarah. Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
Devin, thank you. And this morning, San Antonio police are searching for a man after he shot someone in the leg. So this happened at an apartment complex on South Acme Road. That's not far from Highway 151 on the west side. An argument broke out in the courtyard between 2 groups. Someone opened fire. The suspect shot the other on the leg, then ran from the scene. The victim was sent to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Police searched the area but were unable to find the shooter. Well, yesterday was a bittersweet day in Uvalde where the public finally got to see the new elementary school that was built in place of Robb Elementary, where 19 students and 2 teachers were tragically gunned down in 2022. The new school is called Legacy Elementary. The $60 million campus honors those shooting victims. There were tributes to them all over the new campus, including a tree inscribed with their names.
I think it's important, as time goes by, things tend to fade a little bit. So we always want to make sure that we're never going to forget them. So that's really important. And I appreciate all the detail that was involved in all the different artifacts, different things that were done to the school.
Really such a moving time for that community and those families. Teachers will begin moving into their classrooms next week, and students will start classes there on Monday, October 20th. Well, a special team of San Antonio police officers that's armed with the words instead of weapons. We're talking about the San Antonio Police Department hostage negotiators. So whenever you see the SWAT team roll up, SAPD's hostage negotiators are often close by. Those negotiators are a crucial part of the plans for any standoff. They often talk with barricaded suspects and others involved in stalemates with law enforcement into surrendering. It's a job with a lot of weight behind it, especially when hostages are involved.
To be able to be in that hot seat in that situation, you got to be very calm, cool, and kind of have to think on your feet.
Well, this hostage negotiation team also helps with situations that don't involve hostages, like someone threatening to jump from a tall location to take their own life. San Antonio City Council has approved funding for a full fire department needs assessment. The study will look at staffing, equipment, facilities, and resources to make sure every neighborhood gets fair and fast emergency response. The goal is to identify gaps and help plan for the future so firefighters have what they need to keep the community safe. Results will guide budget and facility decisions for next year and beyond. Today's national headlines: with the ceasefire holding, thousands of Palestinians displaced by the conflict are starting to head back to what's left of their homes in Gaza. Crowds are making their way from the south toward the Gaza City. At the same time, sources say the remaining hostages will be held in Gaza, could be released overnight, Sunday into Monday, from multiple locations. The timing isn't set in stone, but the plan is to have them out before President Trump arrives in Israel on Monday. Well, a court filing revealed that the government shutdown led to layoff notices for over 4,000 federal workers last Friday. The Department of Health and Human Services laid off more than 1,000 employees. Some of those workers come from the CDC, including teams in forecasting, outbreak analytics, and public health infrastructure. So HHS spokesperson said their divisions marked these employees as non-essential. It's 8:37 and 65 degrees. We'll be right back.
Already a cool start in a beautiful morning with abundant sunshine as we're looking over San Antonio. It's going to be hot today and the heat will continue for the foreseeable future. But beyond the foreseeable future, I have the forecast coming up. And outside with TransGuide, you can see this is 35 in Northwest Military. Things look okay. Southwest Military, things look good. A lot of people out and about this morning. It's a beautiful Saturday. We'll have the latest coming.
Well, this morning we're introducing you to 3 Northeast ISD students who are the driving force, literally, behind changes to distracted driving. So we've been telling you about the Johnson High School Smart Driving Club and their efforts to prevent cell phone use and other distractions behind the wheel. So this club has been around for 13 years and seen hundreds of students trying to make a difference on the roads. This current group even lobbied at the state capitol with lawmakers for safer laws to protect pedestrians from distracted drivers. We had the chance to meet up with the co-presidents of the club and find out all about their efforts.
It was really enlightening to see the issues in our school zones and cell phone usage while driving, so it really inspired me to join.
I wrote a few articles to just spread the word about driving safe, and so now as presidents we really just make sure to tell others, educate others.
So these students worked for 5 years to get flashing school zone lights on Bulverde Road by Johnson, and this year created a banner outside the Barra Bulverde Fire Department to raise awareness.
Think about others on the road too, not just about yourself, because what you do affects other people.
So this school year, they are close to having 70 students who are part of the club, and it's open to everyone. Way to go, guys. It was supposed to be an exciting milestone, starting kindergarten. But for one local girl, that day marked the beginning of a very different journey, one that would eventually inspire her to use her experience to support and encourage others. Ada Cordeaux turned her battle with leukemia into a movement of hope. Our Danielle Ibarra shares her remarkable story.
The start of kindergarten should have been exciting. Instead, Ada faced a challenge. She was fighting a mysterious illness keeping her in and out of hospitals.
I was with my dad and he had called my mom and he was like, there's something wrong with her, she's not okay, you need to come home right now.
Ada's mother noticed something crucial in the test results, an unusually low white blood cell count. That observation led to a devastating diagnosis, leukemia.
When you receive that kind of news, it's so difficult. Just expecting, starting kindergarten, it's just like this brand new whole thing, and then sort of go off the tracks there. And thank God for the support of the people around us.
In their darkest hour, the family found light through the nonprofit Blood Cancer United. That connection sparked something powerful. The creation of Ada's Army.
You really have to be there to understand how impactful it is. Just seeing all the supporters and all the people that are really coming together to support people who are fighting cancer. It's just really cool to see all those people, and it's really dark. So you're walking. And you just look and you just see all these lanterns, just lighting up the night, as they say.
Today, Ada is a survivor. At Light the Night events, she proudly carries a white lantern, a symbol of hope and victory.
It's amazing. I survived this and it's really amazing. And I get to see everyone else who survived it, who also is carrying the white lantern. And even people who are carrying the red lantern and the yellow lanterns, it's just seeing everyone who has come out in support and survived.
That energy has become contagious. Ada's Army continues to grow, supporting others on their cancer journey.
Just come out to Light the Night and support everyone. And if anyone is going through blood cancer or any type of cancer, you just need to be there to support them.
Danielle Ibarra, KSAT 12 News.
Well, Ada and her army will be at Light the Night Walk carrying those lanterns and hope for all those still fighting. The event is tonight at the Rock at La Cantera. There's still time to register, so go ahead and scan that QR code and join KSAT and MC Danielle Ibarra for all the festivities. Now, once you scan that QR code, you'll find all the information on our website, ksatcommunity.com.
So important to hear these stories, and thank you so much to Ada and her dad there for telling their story.
Oh my gosh, got so emotional listening to that father. I just can't imagine, and just so proud of that family for remaining so hopeful and then also giving back to the community at the same time.
Looking forward to seeing how Light the Night goes this year. It is going to be hot this weekend and into next week. Here's a look at high temperatures over the next 5 days. Pretty similar day today, 90, 91, or 92 for the high temperature. You may be wondering, is this normal? What was it like last year? Well, last year at this time, it was actually hotter. This is a look at last year's highs. We got up to 98 degrees early through the middle of October. But the key thing here is last year on the 16th, we saw a cool front that we only had highs in the 70s. Is that going to happen this week for us? No. It is not, unfortunately. Take a look at the next 7 days. We're going to be, again, just looking at highs right near 90 degrees. But will we have a cool down ever? Yes, we will. The seasons change. Of course, it'll get cooler in San Antonio, but what about in the foreseeable future? There are some hints and indication that we could have a cool front, but we have to wait for quite a while. We have to wait until potentially after October 19th. That's when we could see a cool front with possibly highs in the 70s and lows in the 50s. That's after October 19th, so that's about a week and a half away from today. Right now, though, you can enjoy some comfortable temperatures in the 60s. It's 65 in San Antonio, 62 in Bandera. Good morning, Carville. It's 59 degrees, 65 in Seguin, and out in Uvalde, it's 68 degrees this morning. We're going to have totally sunny skies. By noon, it'll be 84. We'll be hot today, 92, but just like yesterday, we'll have low humidity. So if you can find some shade, it won't feel all that bad. And then in the evening hours, temperatures will fall into the low 80s with low humidity. There's a lot going on tonight. Local high school games ongoing. If you're just trying to enjoy Saturday night outdoors, it will be pleasant after the warm highs in the low 90s. Upper 80s, though, for the higher elevations in the hill country. All right, the reason why we're so hot is we've got this high pressure system sitting right overhead, and it's really not going to be budging all that much. In fact, with that high overhead, our rain chances are 0 throughout the next several days. So even though it is hard for me to find anything as far as rain goes for the next 1 to even 2 weeks in San Antonio, there are parts of the nation that are going to be enjoying some rain, and that's mainly because of Tropical Storm Raymond. Pacific moisture going to be allowing for West Texas to see some much needed rain, but it could be too much of a good thing for areas in Arizona, Utah, and in Colorado where there's a flood watch in effect. So again, it's interesting to be talking about places like Arizona, the desert, getting some good rain while we continue to stay dry here in San Antonio. But that is the case, unfortunately, for the foreseeable future. We're going to have mornings in the 60s, afternoons in the low 90s. Hey, Sarah, we just got the pollen count in, so coming up in about 8 minutes or so, I'll have the latest pollen count. If you're wheezing and sneezing, there's a reason. I've got that answer coming up.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah.
I am.
Wheezing and sneezing over here.
I've got allergies.
Same. All right, it's 8:52 and 65 degrees. Student mariachi groups are ready to bring the music and celebrate culture in a special festival this weekend. We'll tell you where and when it's happening. Learning and celebrating culture through music, more than a dozen student mariachi groups in the San Antonio area will be commemorating Hispanic Heritage Month today at 16 Mariachi Festival. The festival has been hosted by the city's 16 de Septiembre Commission for over 20 years. Our Stephanie Serna reports these students have been working hard for the showcase and are excited to carry on the traditional mariachi music.
In mariachi, it's violin, trumpet, vihuela, target, guitarrón, And of course, the voice.
These 7th and 8th grade mariachi students at Mark Twain Dual Language Academy showcasing their talents with traditional mariachi music.
It makes me feel proud of my heritage. It makes me feel like I've accomplished something by contributing to my culture.
The Twain Mariachi Group is one of 15 school groups that will be performing at this year's 16 Mariachi Festival happening this weekend.
We normally get 5 middle school groups and 10 high school groups, and they get a donation of $500 to help them with their budgets. And we also feed the kids, so it's a lot of fun.
What does it mean to you to be a part of something that celebrates culture here?
Honestly, I'm really happy to be a part of that because most of my family they're mostly from Mexico. Not a lot of them were born here.
We have kids that are here from San Antonio that were born and raised here, and they're contributing to the diversity that we have here in our campus. Mellow.
Mr. Solis tells us his students have been working hard ahead of the showcase, even practicing over the summer. So they're very proud to present that music now.
Mariachi is like food. And it's got to have flavor. Tiene que tener sabor. And we're blessed here in San Antonio ISD that we are the Mecca of mariachi.
Stephanie Cerna, KSAT 12 News.
Well, this festival, it happens tomorrow from 2 to 9 at the Artisan River Theater at La Villita. It is a free celebration. You can head out to the Riverwalk and enjoy this is happening today. That graphic there says tomorrow. It's happening today. Ignore the graphic. It's for today from 2 to 9, and admission is free. I love all of our mariachi groups, especially the young ones here in San Antonio, so go out and celebrate them. It's 8:57, 65 degrees. We'll be right back.